All right, high school Latin, good day. First of all, we are coming toward the end of Unit 6, lessons 22 to 24. So we'll have a vocabulary quiz a week from today, next Friday. I believe I've already posted a Quizlet in the Henle Latin classroom that I have on my Quizlet page. But you can also just search on Henle Latin 1, Unit 6, okay? So make sure you're ready for that. So we are on lesson 24.2. This is page 253. And first they review the fact that in has these multitude of meanings. And just to give you an idea of that, if you turn over to page 254 at the bottom, you can see that there's about 6 different meanings when you're using in with the accusative. Well, you're also getting add with the accusative, and just to remember that the accusative with prepositions usually indicates motion of some sort, okay? So like trans montes, across the mountains, whereas the ablative has what we sometimes call a locative, so it's referring to not motion, but just simply being somewhere. So that's one of the things to remember, is that usually something that has motion involved with it. It's not exactly true 100% of the time, but usually something with motion is going to use the accusative. All right. So here they're just showing you that add kind of has these kind of flexible meanings. Okay. They were driven to the river, ad flumen. They fought until the night, ad noctem. They arrived at the river, ad flumen. They were prepared for all things. So that's kind of unusual. Anybody remember the other way you would use the word for? Pro, right? Pros and cons. You're pro Trump, you're for him. You're con Trump, you're against him. Okay? So we've had that meaning, but now we're seeing that add can also have that meaning. And then number 5, you can strengthen this notion of add with usque. So they hasten all the way to the city. So it's kind of an intensive version of this usage. All right. So there's some new vocabulary: add, usque, pervenio. And again, if you think of the preposition per, which means through, and venio, which means I come, so I come through, or I arrive. So I've come all the way through, so I've arrived, so pervenio. Paratus, semper paratus is the motto for the Coast Guard, which Jack Treat, recent alumnus, is just starting his Coast Guard training, semper paratus. Utilis, right? What's an English word we get from utilis? It would be utility, right? So it's useful to have electricity and water and your utilities. And then nox noctis. So we recently had the equinox, which the autumnal equinox, right? About a month ago. And it means there's equal day, dies, and nox, okay? Equinox, so the same amount of daylight and nighttime. And then some pertineo, means pertain to or stretch to. So again, you can kind of see how that comes directly into English from pertineto, pertain, relevant to, right? It pertains to this. And then we have a very interesting idiom here study. Remember, idioms are ways of expressing things in language that may use a particular set of words, but the meaning may be slightly different. So here's an example of an idiom. Because of think of a salesman who's trying to close the deal, but he offends the person he's trying to sell these items to, sell his product to. So he might say, well, I shut the door on that deal. I closed the door on that relationship. So he didn't literally close a door, right? It's kind of a metaphor. It's an idiom. So here we're talking about an idiom where the third person neuter pronoun is unexpressed, and it's a way of saying they did something by using kind of an indefinite expression. So it was fought bitterly in the passive would be a way of saying they fought bitterly. So it's kind of using a passive form to indicate an active meaning. And you can see it right here in exercise 267. No, sorry, not 267. Number six. Prima luce ad castra perventum est. So literally, at dawn, at first light, it was arrived at the camp. It was arrived at the camp. But this is this idiom that basically means they arrived. Okay? It was arrived, perfect passive, becomes a substitute for they arrived. And you can see it up here in the example, at the river. Here it's at the camp. Okay? And so here, 6 and 7, you get a contrast between the use of ad and the use of in, right? Number 6, at dawn, they arrived at the camp. At dawn, he arrived, or he arrived in the camp, okay? Which could also probably mean at the camp. All right, so you've got reading 15 to do for Tuesday. So I'm just going to have you work in class here, and I'd like you to turn this in. Let's have you do 268, 1 to 5, 268, 1 to 5. And just realize that, this idiom is going to show up in sentence 1, the idiom study. And yeah, I think it's only going to show up in sentence 1. All right. All right, so that's it. Have a great weekend, and reading 15 and then 268, and you can do both those in class right now, or you can and then you can turn them in, and I'll have them graded by turn them in Tuesday. All right, and then turn in today's homework, which was from what? 264, I believe. Yes. All right. Thank you. God bless.